Hi everyone, my name is Fernando Kirindongo, and in my informative speech, I'll be talking how music can change the brain in many different ways. To begin with, music therapists from all over the world have served around 1.6 million people each year, which is about 0.002% of the entire Earth's population, which is a very interesting statistic. Like I said, music can change the brain in so many different ways. One way is music and memory, being able to recall past lyrics, past experiences. For example, recalling when you were a child and having that sense of nostalgia and being able to recall familiar lyrics is a perfect example of how music and memory can kind of correlate towards one another. Whether that be a good thing or a bad thing, which kind of leads to music and emotion. Knowing that music can reduce our stress, music can boost our moods. For example, listening to your favorite song currently, knowing for the next 2 minutes, the next three, or however long your favorite song is, knowing for those next few minutes, you're able to get that sense of tranquility, that sense of relief, that sense of happiness, um, or even sadness. And also, music and its healing properties. The best example that I can give is music therapy. Whether that be physically or emotionally, music definitely has healing properties. To begin with, I want to talk about music and memory. For example, songs can hold such great value and trigger memories. One example that I can give is, again, listening to your favorite song currently, or even a past relative's favorite genre of music. Being able to um, kind of recall those memories and those past experiences that you've had with that past relative is a perfect example of how music and memory correlate towards one another. To add on those affected with dementia or even Alzheimer's, they can slowly regain memory through music therapy. And in music therapy, what they kind of do is play a familiar tune, whether that be the ABCs, whether that be Happy Birthday. Slowly but surely, listening to a familiar tune aids those who have dementia or Alzheimer's. And also, music can improve learning, which helps with memory. Studying while listening can aid in memory vividness. For example, around 68% people believe that listening to music while studying helps them. And I definitely am a firm believer because, as myself, when I study, what I typically do is put on music, and that helps me focus and that helps me kind of regain and absorb that knowledge that I need. Moving on, music and emotion definitely play a role in how music can change the brain. Knowing that music can reduce stress and anxiety. Anxiety is lowered while listening to music. That is a proven fact. Around 55% of students report that listening to music lowers anxiety. And again, I can kind of correlate that to myself because what I typically do when I'm anxious is listen to music. Anxious before a job interview, anxious before even going to class is a perfect example that I can give. And we also can typically feel physically emotional with music. Around 55 to 90% of people experience pleasurable chills while listening to music. Whether that be a beat drop or whether that be such a sad tune that we listen to, we can get chills, and that kind of affects our emotions, which kind of leads on in how music can shifts our mood. Again, like I said, we can kind of go from angry to calm, sad to happy, or even happy to sad, depending on the genre of music. And emotion and music can definitely affect our emotion with that. Moving on, I want to talk about music and its healing properties. Again, music therapy, like I've talked about, can aid patients, those who have certain disorders. For example, Alzheimer's, again, like I said, or dementia. It can also aid those who have anxiety or depression. Around 86% of people around the world claim that music therapy has helped them develop social interaction. It's a perfect example of those helping who have social anxiety and how music therapy can slowly aid those who suffer from that. To add on, music and rhythm can aid those affected by mobility disorders. The rhythm of a song can aid a stroke patient increasing mobility because the stimulation between it allows the damaged neurological paths to connect, and it aids those who suffer from strokes or even those who suffer from arthritis as well. Moving on, music can be used in hospitals. With music used in hospitals, with patients, they can have that sense of relief, that sense of calmness before a big procedure. Um, Having to go into surgery is definitely one of those scary feelings, and in hospitals, having music there, um, like I said, and how music can shift our mood, having those music there can kind of help those patients kind of get that sense of relief, that sense of calmness before a big procedure. And to summarize how music and how it can change the brain in different ways, like I said, music can allow patients, those who suffer from dementia or from Alzheimer's, kind of recall familiar tunes and kind of recall past memories with nostalgia, allowing them to kind of get that sense of relief and that sense of comfort when they felt listening to that song for the first time. Again, music can change the brain and how it perceives emotion. Like I said, we can get chills, we can get happy, we can dance, we can get sad, we can cry anytime we listen to music. To add on music and its healing properties, it's a medication to those who suffer from depression, anxiety, arthritis, dementia, Alzheimer's. Around 84% of young people have recognized that music contributes to their mental health. And music is therapy. Music moves people and connects people in ways that no other medium can. It can pull heartstrings and it acts like medicine, and that's words from Malcolm Moore. Thank you so much for everything, you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.